brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20+ years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video we're going to show you how to fix a common problem with Ford automatic transmissions in the mid and late 90s. It's replacing the valve body gaskets, and the symptom basically is the transmission will just have trouble shifting. It will not shift, and then if you let off the gas it'll finally go into a gear. And that's usually a symptom that the valve body gasket needs to be replaced. Tools you'll need are pretty basic: jack and jack stands if you need to jack up your car. Sometimes on these Explorers like this vehicle you don't even really need to jack it up. 8, 10, 13 millimeter sockets. You'll need a cleaning solvent to clean out the transmission pan, automatic transmission fluid, and a screwdriver to help you line up the gasket and pan at the end.
So you're going to want to go up underneath, and you're going to pull down your transmission pan, which is this pan right here. And here's your cross member, catalytic converter, your engine's up here. This is your transmission pan, and there's about 15 bolts just around the perimeter. You want to remove all the bolts except for probably 2 of the back ones, and then you loosen up those back ones and start prying down on the front so that you can control how much oil comes out. Okay, so I still have the rear rear bolts tight, and now you can see I'm actually loosening up this front one, and I'm starting to get drips all around the front of the pan. And I've got kind of a nice wide catch pan here. Just trying to work a screwdriver in. As soon as you work the screwdriver in, now you can see it's really starting to pour it out. So just let it drain like that for a while. Okay, and what you can see here is I just placed the jack under here lightly just to help me out while I'm getting these bolts off. I just brought the pan down. I'm dumping the rest of the fluid that's in the pan into my catch basin. This is your filter right here. There's an 8 millimeter bolt right here. Okay, not a clean job, but your transmission will really appreciate you for it. I'm just going to put that bolt right down in my pan that's down here. Okay, and now your filter comes right out. Some more fluid. Okay, what we're looking at here now is the valve body. That's the front of the vehicle, and what we want to do is just unplug. There's 5 electrical leads, and they all just kind of pull off pretty easily. Shake them a little bit. Actually, I'm sorry, there's 6. And then pull this right down and out of the way. So now you're going to remove all these 10 millimeter bolts. You don't need to remove this natural finished one here that's holding this bracket. Okay, these bolts are different sizes, and you don't need to remove this natural one here either. They're different lengths. So what I suggest you do is lay yourself out a nice clean spot in your work area, and as you take each bolt out, kind of put it in the area that it goes into the valve body. That way you keep track of which bolts go where.
And now, a little fast forward, you can see I have them all laid out the way they're supposed to be.
Okay, so you also move the 4 bolts that hold this servo cover up, and it comes down. Okay, and then as I take this last bolt out here, see all kinds of a mess. And I can remove my middle bolt. And again, be ready to get a little oily. And bringing the valve body down. Okay, and now we can see right here's our problem. Okay, this whole thing is a gasket, and right here the gasket's missing. It's been blown out, and that is a common problem on these cars, and it's what causes shifting problems. Okay, and while it's draining, you just want to kind of pull your valve body gasket up and off. Try and pull it as whole as you can. And again, that's right your problem right there. Okay, so here we have our valve body out, and we're going to take this cover off. It's T30 Torx bolts. So take it straight up and off, and then you want to pull your gasket straight up and off.
Now at this point, if you chose to, you could clean out your valve body. I don't, because there's lots of small parts in there that you have to make sure that go back in, so I just keep it flat, pull the gasket off, and then put the new gasket on. Because most of the time there's not enough dirt in there to make a difference, and once you put the new fluid in, it gets cleaned out pretty well. But if you did clean it out, you want to make sure that you do it with something like a penetrating oil that still has some lubrication to it, and also make sure you get all the parts back into the right spots.
You want to put your new gasket right down on, and it is important that this gets lined up correctly. Wipe down our plate. Just get any of the stuff off we can. You want to make sure you tighten these bolts up correctly. It's not a lot. It's only about 6 foot-pounds because it's about 70 inch-pounds. You actually have to listen very carefully to the wrench to hear the click. Now what I've done is I've put my middle one through, and I put one of my side ones through. Just going to wipe off a little bit of this transmission fluid. You don't have to worry about it being perfectly clean, but I put those through, and now I put my gasket on. Okay, so I've got my valve body. I'm going to put it up there like a little pizza, making sure that on this side my shifter goes into place. Get it up over the wires. Make sure that that gets into where it needs to go, roughly. Okay. Now carefully start these bolts. Not really pressing it up in there, just trying to kind of feel and get that bolt started. Same thing here. Because until we know we got it started in the transmission correctly, we don't want to pinch the gasket. Okay, so that started. My shifter's kind of lined up there. So now I'll put this bolt up and in. Make sure it goes to the gasket right. Okay, get him started. That helps those go a little bit easier. Okay, now I can just slowly, I'm going to just kind of start putting my bolts in and work my way out until they're all in. Okay, so you want to make sure this hole here is open because that's the hole that your filter goes into. And then you just push up. And I'm going to hand tighten all of these.
Now starting in the middle, you want to torque these to 8 foot-pounds. The torque spec is, I think, 70 to 92 inch-pounds, which works out to be 6.5 to 9 foot-pounds. So you want to torque them to 8. I torqued them to 8 foot-pounds. I worked from the center, and then after I did from the center out, working my way around, I then just went side to side and rechecked them. And there is one bolt that's underneath this detent on the side, so you want to torque that bolt and then put this bolt on last. And now here I am putting on the servo motor cover, which is the 4 bolts. A new gasket should come with the gaskets for the valve body. So you put those 4 bolts on and again torque those to 8 foot-pounds.
Okay, so now we can put our wiring clip back up and in and plug our connections back in. And just double check them.
Okay, so I am going to speed through putting your filter and pan back on. If you want to see this in regular speed, just check out our other videos for the Ford Explorer training service. And we hope this helps you out. If you're having some shifting problems with your Explorer or a mid to late 90s Ford automatic transmission, it can be a blown valve body gasket. The worst you can do is take it apart and find out that it's not a blown valve body gasket, and then you put it back together and do whatever you need to do with the car. Or if you find that it's one of these gaskets, then you can fix it yourself and be back on the road for pretty cheap money. Okay, and once your pan's all on, then you're going to want to fill up your transmission. Your dipstick has a little grid here that shows you, where full is. What you want to do is you probably put about 3 quarts in and then start it up and let it get warm and fill it until it's in the middle or towards the top of that grid. And you want to use Mercury 5 type automatic transmission fluid in this Ford Explorer. If you're doing a different type of car, make sure you use the correct fluid for whatever vehicle you're working on. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.